because I share newspapers Libya. Me sure say what is
Bagbin got to the point where
Bagbin has thrown the rate out.
No, Chairman.
What I'm saying
is that we shouldn't have got to this point.
But as speaker, I know no senka or yeah more of a calming effect. As on why you tinti.
Chairman, when you pinch Obi beyond the level that is fun, Nipano would react in a certain way. Onu Bagbin na kan say o si nchia etra wo elbow de na enye nchia bim na eya koye sutro. What you say? I think say Ashanti no when the Honorable Haruna made that comment, I would have expected say leadership bishia I can say okay, where a genuine concern you are raising and you are citing the law. Yeah, tears here, but there are other exigencies. Is there a way we can deal with this without bringing the work of Parliament to a halt? One, now say, Oman find any resolution to the issue. Then whoever has any cause of action can then resort to that. But me say, omu ka sana na ora afenyomak in court even before the speaker could even say Jack.
Because or say no when your intelligence also say
you see
a dear speaker and your more iron shisha ain't no nim say baby bedroom and edruno.
Chairman, so you see, take the first step and confirm the veracity of your intelligence. Well, until if you call them to the table, now they prove to you say indeed near wuti and no person moyeno, then you'll be justified to proceed with any course of action you think is fit. But one says here it is about see. Now anything we are going to say about his action is going to be speculative. Say or ti say BBC besi eno or tu hwana mo. Yentimi ka say o share omo ena ya kan say ntiase anye edwuma. We cannot say that. All we can say is say you see on your intelligence and then proceeded to act on the intelligence. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes Chairman obia oya watamfo. Ultimately about the plans the person has against you. Then you disable and disarm onyakuno. And I would have expected say the first step would be to meet with the leadership and have a conversation. But Ambanisa says I bedroom pensobi. Discriminatory distribution. Nana Michao and Nano pay.
Nana Kumia Baba was starting head anyway,
but baby I have bedroom. Chairman is sebi time. As I said, it is obvious that the positions are entrenched. Nobody is willing to soften the position. Na Parliamentary juma. Na near ehame, and I said this last week, and it's the manner in which the case was handled in the Supreme Court also gives a certain idea. Say the Supreme Court wants to be overbearing the judiciary wants to be overbearing on the work of the legislature.
How so?
Chairman, one will say, to the extent that somebody applies for an interim injunction, an ex parte injunction, sorry. Now, and the convention and the principle is that the person should be given, usually you are given 10 days, within which if you want an extension, you come on notice. Now, the Supreme Court says, well, even though you applied for an ex parte injunction, which is an interim one, mana more like a perpetual injunction.
Debbie, from what I understand, and I say, Supreme Court they can say, upon your mark in the Asamoah, Bagbin train so. In the meantime, file processes. In 7 days
until the final determination of the case. If it is going to drag for the rest of the tenure of Parliament, not just the injunction is going to be in place.
Now some of filing processes are about the council.
No, but what you are staying the hand of the speaker from doing anything until the determination of the case. Yes, and there's uncertainty about the duration. And now the longevity of
some filing processes.
So why don't you let them come and even also speak to the issue of injunction, whether omo jitum say beboa omo ana emboa om. They can come with some arguments that might even convince the bench say injunction na nkrofo isiki ye no yet here Bagbin and our parliament arguments, we feel say it is not convincing enough. Until yet, mean grantee injunction until the determination of the case. Well, me that's where.
Anyway, at this point, Bagbin say only asem so. Inti wabwegu yese or say man fan breme Joada no sen kamode ba man fan ba. Inti no wabwegu wasuma ne lawyer penyin sorry.
We are walking into a minefield though.
Inti ujiri says speaker sen ko relax kakanka yebedu minefield and also
you see baby Yedri is about turf war. Baby Yedri
and Uji too say turf war.
No me chairman say I didn't know extra the point Amika said they should have engaged extra honum it became a turf war.
I see.
Afenyo went to court and the speaker felt you think I can be humiliated and I can be humbled by the Supreme Court and so on and so forth. Well, would they call Miso Meba and see all kinds of suits are now emerging. There are flurry of suits now. You see, a so-called businessman, you see a friend Benjamin.
But respectfully, don't describe him as so-called because he nimno.
Do you know whether he is or not?
Me nimno. But in the suit, no, they can also a businessman.
Chairman,
it's
a particular case.
I think.
Well,
respectfully,
a businessman.
Simple businessman.
With all difference to the
I'm the speaker here.
Yeah, you are the speaker. And
don't let me declare your seat vacant.
Yes, I mean, with all due respect, there is a certain businessman who has also filed a process in the High Court, speaker, and say, oh, you can say in the declaration, no. The Supreme Court can and say Ejina and so now there are going to be flurry of suits and the idea if you ask me the net effect is Parliament will be stopped technically speaking from doing its work because we and next suit we or China you may even call them nuisance suits but nonetheless they are still suits until at the end of the day Parliament kwan ejuma and sabi ne na the ye pese sa so-called stalemate and a standoff beba ne you so that Parliament can get to do its work. But at this rate, Chairman, I am not sure. Look, Parliament will be able to do its work. Now, you see, Speaker, after rejecting the summons, and I reach, has gone to apply and I filed for a review of the earliest decision by the Supreme Court. And also,
Supreme Court
no, but that's what the law says.
Ayo.
And some law, some running they says.
Ain't it Supreme Court when I say pass judgment and obejatum.
So it is because wajatum tina wakwe review. No one to me doesn't go for review.
Oh, okay.
And the speaker, in my view, has accepted the ruling, even though he fundamentally disagrees. And I share some of his disagreement. But the idea Marano actually say, look, once the Supreme Court speaks, you have to obey. And you have recourse to remedy. You can seek review which is what he has done.
Or say Sinida.
And the problem is that time is of essence here.
Hey, power.
Time is of essence. Parliament has less than 2 months, and it's less than 2 months. To come to an end as a parliament. The life of Parliament will soon come to an end. Now say, and even when you say budget, you be presenting say November musis here,
yeah, no October.
Okay. Next month, I say presenting interim budget now. Yeah, presenting an election year no, and you will present it in November. Chairman, if who is going to present what? Which parliament? Parliament is on recess. If Parliament is not recalled, the Minister for Finance cannot even come to present the budget. And what do you think is going to happen?
Well, the Speaker will get his salary. MPs will get paid.
All of them. But
one final question. Now,
Chairman.
But I think,
Chairman,
final question if you want to ask someone can not any problem. Minimum lawyer intimidate. I will not say I'll only ask questions and hope for explanations. Technically speaking, Parliament has been served a writ.
That is what it would be. It would seem.
Parliament, Supreme Court, Parliament, ya serve mo say any. Speaker say constitutional arrangement B plus judicial secretary arrangement B. Intino Monsan Fadia no consider it a moon 7, but me bamoho ababeji vacation of it review blah blah blah. How does it sound to you?
Chairman, this whole situation, like I said, is murky. Now, Onuswa side team running, and you see the law. Am I allowed to say it's an us, like they say? Everybody has his or her understanding of the law. Boom. And just like Ora Fenyomakin said, his understanding of the article and the clauses and the article, no. HRS speaker entering declare significant. Also interpret. Also, I can say his understanding of a certain provision of the law. The arrangement they've had with the CJ no HRS. Ube servi enya except fakwan bi so. Na say amfasa akwan is why it is considered not to have been properly served. I think it is for the Supreme Court. Since that incident. Yeah. I am awaiting the response of the Supreme Court to see whether they agree with his position or not. Because Chairman, once the service will wait, if you are not properly served, sometimes it is assumed you have not been served. Wow. Until court service, so it has to be properly done. Until if in his view it has not been properly done, I think now it is for Supreme Court to say whether his claim say it was improper service, no, nukre and I say nukre. Nina time. Intinamika said time is of essence. Afe nombe determine whether his view about proper or improper service, no, so and I say nyina so or maybe anavi or ma review application no so afe court bisu tie another case that somebody has brought. Chairman, when you know at the end of this now the business of Parliament is getting halted. And for me, that is where the worry is. Say, Kwembe nebe faso ama we nyina abane yuye so that Parliament can go back to doing its work. Now, Chairman, let's even grant say we nyina they are able to resolve or metimi yuye. Now they reconvene. Do you think the business of Parliament will be the same as it was before?
Quite obviously not.
And because consensus building the SSC idea is gone. Now, some of the individuals are affected. Me patch MPs maybe now affected. No, Chairman, do you even think what their decisions are going to be on some of the issues? Some of them, one year, two about to ana. Two abana. Me see like when it gets to, I meant like 2 times two abana. Drew. Thank you, Prof. Drew about to ana. 1 year now omako tunu be in a way that would even be counterproductive.
My very final question, if you didn't come on a berry or have Achima baby so. Obi na the message by me, Obi the message by me says here, but one funny dianka home. But Achima question be so. Winner takes all.
Thank you.
Is it therefore not justified? Esani say Debi a kasen ye higher organa ha your politics winner takes all. Just a war be din kunim no bibia odia. Wake a cray see and tree drink could be so say we are justifying winner takes all. Because yes. Your fan say technically speaking, Mrashebe Jem is speaker no NDC no and executive MPP. Yeah. But won't you equi? Does it not therefore justify winner takes all? Your thoughts?
In a great sense, Chairman, it does, and it's saddening because we are we've spoken about how winner takes all, zero-sum game, reducing politics to a zero-sum game, high is one of the reasons why we seem to be developing at slower pace. Let's say Parliament has been given an opportunity. Chairman, I say this is, how do I describe Parliament to you?
A very turbulent Parliament.
Turbulence is actually an understatement. It means you are very charitable.
Horrible Parliament.
Yes. Esan said we had a great opportunity.
Zero discipline Parliament.
Chairman, you can say all ended. Esan said I thought this was going to be one of our finest because of the numbers, but we've lost our opportunity. No. Look, I felt this would be a very strong Parliament where accountability will be the highest in Asifo. But Chairman, I don't see that. All I see is ntokwa disagreements are sabi here and so on. Everybody trying to flex muscle, trying to show say your numbers, but the numbers are relevant to the degree say mudi ye bibi papa I be Ghana mai. That you are able to hold one another accountable. Sa numbers kroya na kopa say sa LI 2642. What I say? So I say what is the benefit of having these numbers?
But don't forget, sir, LI 2642 is on the table for repeal.
No, I'm saying, Chairman, do we even have to get to the point where it has to be repealed? Or man passing, I think we even be talking about repeal. But I'm saying we had a glorious opportunity that was wasted. Sir, parliamentarians would hold one another accountable because of the numbers. But sir, and as I see this idea of you can have the executive and a part of the executive belonging to one political party, and maybe at the lower levels here to Abakrana and Ebimu, so that Obiabetima contribute to governance, and that winner takes all no MY. Near Ekukozwi, Chairman, every political party will now make sure say elections at district levels, on yet. Essence said the fear is that they can hold you hostage. Now, we are even endangering this concept or construct of separation of powers, because the CID chairman acquired therefore and man past man asemo who has the power, who is able to say what when the bit and it's a big problem. Now Supreme Court IABB speakers on Jintum and so on and so forth ninyina yakako bebia where would begin to experience disrespect between and amongst the arms of government, and that would be the beginning of our crisis. Once legislature FE say, look, the way we see fit. Now judiciary disagrees. Now FSO and so on and so forth. Look, they can say okay, the law says we should obey your decisions, but you can't force us to implement it in a way. Because they see as die adjournment in this annual. Some Ranaka say the status quo. Supreme Court Eka said the status quo should remain. And yes, sir. Yeah. Some betnas in a way who says status quo ni yejuma and I say yejuma. We will keep adjourning sine die till the end of the life of this parliament. And what intermediate chairman beyond court issues in sir we know. Niempesa Mr. say we have statesmen in this country. Oura former president Kufuor, His Excellency. Chairman, he's one of the most respected statesmen we have in this country. Both sides, and
it was after he left power.
Oh, Chairman, but there are others who are leaving power. They can't be like him.
All I'm saying is it was after he left power.
No, but Chairman, even
President Kufuor, who am I for who no Ghana?
No, respect, but no politics.
Sir.
Oh,
into politics in 2 minutes didn't attempt.
Oh, Chairman, some is justified though.
You can saw a crown for okay.
Oh, no one can find you. But I'm saying that
vindication is the womb of time.
But there are others who never been vindicated by time. They will never be vindicated.
Oh, now okay.
If anything at all, it will be confirmed. Say, Ghana, I'm saying that both sides respect him. Or no, there are other like Chief Imam, for example, and some Christian leaders. Chairman, me, I always believe say Asemba anu na edika. Sa court in semi mbobia. Look, it's about time we called the speaker and the leadership of parliament to a round table. With these people around. Now omundin komo. Let them find a way to resolve this impasse. It is not in the interest of Ghana, it is not in the interest of parliament. It doesn't enhance the image of parliament. And parliament is, like I said, if not the most important, but one of the most important, you can say, arms of government. And Ghana, look, a lot of countries, Ghana, any enkanka, your legislature, any the way I conduct here, they learn from us, they are inspired by what we do. It is not for nothing, Tina Oura Bagbin. Yes, are re-electing as the president of speakers of parliament in Africa and Abibisa, because of the way I conduct here, because of the way I legislature we have worked as a country and parliament has worked as a body because of consensus building. Mr. Bibi Edri Mesre say the MPP side should soften their positions. The NDC caucus too should soften their position. Look, at the end of the day, Speaker is the head of the House. Now, let them have a conversation with a view to coming up with a solution that is workable for all. Na yentimi entuasu na the business of government can continue. Say when Parliament resumes, and now when Parliament is recalled, there are all kinds of bills, including loans in this annual. I do not know why we want to contract loans at this particular point in time anyway. I have my issues on that. But nonetheless, what I feel about what they are presenting is a non-starter and is not material. Near here and say Parliament should be able to get back to work. They will then determine whether they will approve these loans or not. But Juma and Sana without Parliament coming back to work, whether they disagree or they agree with the loans and the rest of that, this is the time you're paying for can appeal to paying for more Parliament. More Muntinasi, the leadership on both sides, and the head of the House, the Speaker, no. And like I said, His Excellency, the former President, Ewoho, he can be, and I'm sure he'll be willing to be of service to this process. The Chief Imam, the Christian Council, and all other any parliamentarians, let them sit so that we can end this unending cycle of litigation.
But that's it.
Because at the end of the day,
but interestingly, trying to say more ex gratia no ombedi home coma. We'll see how that will pan out. But legally, Obiama, my legal opinion, BCC, say legally, the Speaker may be right. Okay. So on only first defendant, and it was not served on him. As a person, to Parliament.
So it is Parliament and the Speaker. They are both defendants.
Okay. Or no NAD can't teach you.
It is right.
Well, me lawyer. I welcome any legal opinions.
My rules there.
Yeah.
People can always find their ways around the law. I am consider being. It's an ending cycle of litigation. We have to end it at some point.
Well, because as you mentioned earlier, it's flexing of muscles.
Yeah, and show of man past man.
Peter Sabia in Tema says, Kwame, good morning. Remember the NDC told us they'll make the country ungovernable, and that is what they are doing right now. Peter Sabia in Tema. And then Abe Queen Lashibi says, I miss J.H. Mensah, Uswe Champong, Ibn Chambers, Kumbo, etc. As for this 8th Parliament, Abeku in Lashibi says that Ajabing in Hacho, what is going on in Parliament currently is not the best. We should not and cannot underestimate the power of the Supreme Court. Power is transient. They should remember. This one says, I heard from lawyer Adolfo that though the Speaker rejected the court rate, it doesn't change anything. It was just an error and the Supreme Court can still proceed with its ruling. Dan Ochre, East Hospital. And then this one says, what number 3 is doing is what we call power sharing and setting a bad record, as his speakership has not been the best for Ghana. Lamte King Rashid in Tema.
So I understand Parliament is not even a defendant in this case. It's the Speaker and the Attorney General.
Well, so let's see what the Supreme Court will say.
On his person.
Let's see what the Supreme Court will say. Alban Bagbin shouldn't have declared the seats vacant, considering the time frame, and could have brought chaos into this country. His decision has led to both majority and minority taking entrenched positions. Is the Speaker Bagbin happy with the current state of Parliament? What he did is tantamount to a coup d'etat. He's been telling Ghanaians his position is number 3. All there's to make governance difficult. He's showing just powers. O'Neill and Ponsa in Amsterdam. This is not the first rate Parliament has refused to accept, because the Speaker's lawyers are already in court to overturn the Supreme Court decision. Papa in Takwa. Okay. And then let's see. Peace 104.3. Nana Kumia Memwachi bio giant Nana Kumia Memwachi.
Kwame Sefa.
Yes, Nana, it is a
Yegusuminya.
Yeah, then Yamiasi. Prof Machibio. Yeah, that's no adaji. Akumia the giant.
Yeah.
Former member of Parliament, 16 years.
Mimi Dayo.
I mean then a giant in the bus one. Nyami wo Nana Kumia guest of honor and guest speaker of GSTS.
Oh, great. Remember Kided Nature special parade.
Yeah, guard of honor.
Yes.
Chairman General Nye.
Yes.
These are not working in
Hey, it was almost enough. I know I bet you free. Why kukuti? Enough of us. Bema never.
Makacho some special parade for Kwame Sefa. Chairman General.
It's all good. With that, Nana. Nana, Niako swing.
Kwame.
Yeah, bending.
I mean, share it. But here for.
Yeah, Joso. Obi say Ebanisa na why you kono. Me ni apanyi kwesi esi edu mechi ono pay.
Kono na dey kwapima na.
Kwapima ye twikasa. Twikasa kono. Utia kono jese.
Utipe.
Uti ma de
language omo description of events and situations.
Utia kono.
Why kono? Why Southwest? I don't know how.
We call them idiophones.
Idiophone.
The sounds and the meanings
match.
Send the minimum. Obonsiono gona.
But opinion like that. The sound, you know. Any interest here no match.
That means idea in phone, which is idea in sound.
Okay. It is on tias here poor. What is sound now? A man an idea of.
And I always wonder how people come up with those words.
I have a whole paper.
Chikasa soon was our way.
Yeah, send me a copy.
I know Penny can also bones no guna. And you see the sound your throat makes. Yeah.
Just your crowd idea.
Also, no, Kuberis no, see, and a bit shit, the banner pump and say, boom. Gravity.
Yes. Straight away, it gives you a fair idea of.
Kwame, Nana, metie a Michael Quay.
Michael Quay Jr.
Someone another neighbor.
DKC, Domi Kwabi.
Just a Michael Quay, yeah, Jumao.
Bah.
Parliamentary candidates. And our lights are who draw why because me and I are parliamentary candidates.
Now, over 1,000 lights so far.
Say, we nisu adie who betuja, but I can't do the bayan near Madiana. Unsa unisa candian out the better. But
it is a high new group.
But don't share Utiene mana Mike is why na. That's just a Nenia Brepa.
Oh, yeah.
Nenia Brep. We GDP say Ebekoye Amano. Kwame.
Nana.
In some years you were parliament.
Wow, fear.
Kwame. Yemfa no quarry no end to baby as here the two. So let's call Boribekai, let's call a spade a spade. Nekoso parliament. Speaker Bagbin any NDC. Omo anyadi.
Oh, are they?
Kwame, but that is the plain facts. Omo anyadi. Speaker Bagbin is being unruly.
Meaning?
Yeah, I can't say what you mean.
Walakofa Batron.
It's been and at the NDC.
Just say wajinsem. That's what you say. Yeah.
No, just say mean say wajinsem is the right word.
That's what unruly means.
And at NDC for also are being unruly.
I'm saying no people for the buy unruly.
Asem na can assemble. Said na minu atik e kan. The speaker Bagbin waje Supreme Court ruling atu. Waje atuma. What is the next step?
Also your court to vacate the ruling.
Yeah, but on court no ruling in a stand mebo.
Inti disu.
That's all. Disu. We're adding.
Also a new ruling in Yadring.
Yes, but until say your best is on ruling will be disu. That is all.
Really?
Bibia any hobby. It's nipa na own this no. Own the Supreme Court ruling. Na yesi na meki no NSC address yasem no man. You have to obey the Supreme Court ruling. Now Supreme Court rulings or man may Say see engine tomorrow. Nanke democracy in Kerikoi. Omuma ruling 2013 on the NPP petition.
Presidential petition.
Yes. Presidential petition. NPP supporters say sa election ukra voter supporters near war in 2012 elections. Millions and millions of Ghanaians. Intike can say engine tum and it supporters more engine tuma. Kadene besu o memo. You can't say any ruling any omo nyadwen but omo na omo wo
to me
so be ruling. Nti omo kan uji tumo engine tumo. You have to comply. Nancy petition 2021. Supreme Court sama ruling. Nanka John Mahama so she support Onya during the 2020 elections.
Over 6 million.
Over 6 million. No one can say me jintum into support the Mobian soon jintum. What will happen in this country? This is a country says public servants, Nipabe said 300 crack striker. It can bring the country down. Then you have 6 million people in civil disobedience. Now the whole architecture, meaning the now work for democracy. It rests on the Supreme Court.
Me prof for her.
Ninya Jina Fapim say the Supreme Court is the final
arbiter.
Meaning
ono kan na yewie.
Ono kan yewie. Abrewa owofie.
Rempemu esiedu.
Kwame, democracy nya that is ni Fapim.
Yeah.
Because yen cry yet nipa mensa yet ya na fufu. Ya dwen enko bankro all the time.
Okay.
Enti say enti asiemba ya dwen enko bankro. Nuanom awarefo and the team see. But where does it end? Say one pay bibia and no can not just a bibia and koda baby and that there will be chaos. Society ain't me and function. Ain't ya send me a assembly. Bagbin, Speaker Bagbin, OCO. Any pay your choir or my near my fast food. My dream, no.
Dream.
Or my free parliament. It depends be so. Speaker Bagbin, you know, and ya dream say nipano. Ube cancel me free parliament. Sana yansu ya timra na seno. Different. It is entiasie a funny famo mo drink or benkura. And she share ni say obeko Supreme Court. Ya dia sem na kodani Supreme Court. Supreme Court omo ma ruling no. Omo say ya dia asem no ababe dane ye na efa constitution Ghana constitution hinti. Bibia engina baby ewo. Until say yahwe asemu
munso
mwansa kwami edase munso mwansa eche say den sana na eti first na ho na say ekom we ehia say be close to parliament ehia say speaker Supreme Court say so mwansa it is not parliament netino sana say ekom until say
status quo
and almost say in 1 week 7 days will be in 7 How does this cause the closure of parliament by the speaker? How?
He feels it's an affront to his authority and to the independence of parliament. Ofi se nyomo ye no ni tumi okura no omo brenas.
That's why unim se kwame wati.
Menya judge minim
because enye asema ye kan enye affront to Obi and Obi independence. Emra no so dear. Kwame say na woni mi jin this one call law school to say me
ko bi da.
But ye nim say emra no ending na Supreme Court aka. Anambo.
Yeah, no correct.
Enti emra no say no obia o say dey say na aka no Kwame.
Munso mwansa.
That is the law as we speak. And to obey it means sananetina munfanye juma until say yako asemunum. Kwame, what is difficult about this? What is difficult about this? Supreme Court no. Omuma rule enye about wo independence. Anambra. Now they have struck down presidential actions. Anambra. The Supreme Court. They have struck down presidential actions. President in decisions on my taking. They call down the Supreme Court. They've struck them down.
To say Domelevo.
Jerry Rawlings. I see on the edges or can be those days. The Supreme Court struck him down.
31st December and June
31st December. Yes, Rawlings, you mean the 31st December with public funds.
Yeah.
Okay, came.
Yeah.
And so this. Because that is the architecture now, we should share now with the sanity. Now, even Parliament, Supreme Court can't say you have to vet the ministers. But you have to vet them by the Constitution. Those are the struck down Parliament in 1997, 1990. J.H. Mensah. Because the democracy now ikuta a betiti. Inti Bagbin as speaker, Osiwama ruling sena utiasi umranasi. But nyonkwa nyawo na utre umranasi. Inti obi challenge wa ne kwa anso. Tisa na wo Bagbin yesi ene unso call Supreme Court. The same thing. Because ujiti say Supreme Court can't. No mo trem ranasi. Nti o ma trem ranasi, say kunkonso means be an cosenete no until say yama ruling. Ya ono ma kan say obi an fa ne niam ni nyambra within 7 days na ye hweso na yama ruling. What is simpler than this? It's not about you Bagbin. It's not about Parliament. It's about the constitutional order. Tre ahayeti. Who studio Hayati?
Yeah.
Kwame.
Nana.
Ebiana openyi wa benchen wo Kwame.
Bebre kwa.
Ebiana openyi wa ye.
Bebre kwa.
Ebia ochen wo fie kra kakra.
Oh baby and the bebre.
Ebia openyi mcheza ni degrees or nim half. Kwame hakitu Hayati. We as you who now so na order rest Anambra.
Mini speaker.
Simple. Even in this small table, no one is speaker. Baby, anywhere order anyhow. Say order anywhere, there will be chaos.
Yeah.
Maybe I will back me crowd Supreme Court. Maybe crowd show will be mad. Fine. Sure, my dear. Ona mo musi ana bi mo pass. But Imrano rests with the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So omo kana also disua. There's who also then treason. Now ukotie NDC for na omo press conference be omo ye kwesiada. Say Mrano we end Mrano my kwan say near majority.
So mo try just speak akasa.
Omo say Mrano so they use the word lawfully. Ukti omo Supreme Court omo say the speaker was based on law. Nti almost as majority is based on law. But the law is not what Speaker Bagbin says.
It's the Supreme Court.
It is the Supreme Court. Where who has to be called law school to know this? And the Supreme Court am ruling. The simple way for society to come together is to obey the ruling. Beyond the Supreme Court, the courts be a ruling. You have to obey.
Also ruling on your munya adwinti okwako vacate into what to Parliament or the king kufi.
Wash. Sana mraniche.
The me san no kai mo bata ye say you hear say what bridging inferences. And I be imprecatures, Mrefian. Parliament, you have to me the Safi in Kufie.
Yeah.
Yes, Aguamazachi.
What is the point?
Power.
Where power? It is unruly.
Power.
You are being unruly.
I'm showing power.
I can't see even. It's your channel also back below can be floor Parliament. Now, MPB say, Miss Peninsula, no band. no obende ono so kaza onso ye MP onso ya to aba ma no onso aba ndo obende
or a supreme speaker
in the earth time and later make can say look baby I no kware ni dan yen fenta let's call a spade say asemi ba ye na ntawantawa ntiase emba na speaker aka nko obi abedi so but once a Supreme Court akasa no that is the law. A collegiate of secondary school they know that the Supreme Court is the final say on law. The law no say in the say simple. To everybody will be able to come that them.
Back to factory settings.
Back to factory settings until the Supreme Court ama ruling. That's all. What's the thing? And then no yes na confusion about na kwambe ne be faso ne he na fe ne kofre kufu aba na fe ne kofre hwan aba assembly Supreme Court akasa na nipa na ntia kufu na be ma nipa na tie untie fa no kware ne nto ba bi eda kwame
nana
mawie me das
yen fa no kware no nto ba bi eda nana akomia enede eno ebae banana answer na obekọ no obisi we nyina MPP mu amujejereje. How do you react to that?
O say ayede
mu amujejereje
o say assembly
senka mu 2021 ena mu bom bre yi anka bi anka Bagbin ye speaker 2020 elections and bom bre yi anka mukuta clear majority of parliament.
Well, say sir Bagbin be speaker ni pe bi o ho o manage hu
ni pe bi MPP mo manage hu
ni pe bi MPP o manage hu
I see.
I mean show ni ntia
Dem
sir when say a parliament no omo no omo wo to me over the finances of the country executive.
Yeah.
A free your share democracy as in 1993. They be an uncle for a cancer parliament a week. Ninety the cancer and say a free 1993. 10 be a executive no. I mean, you can executive by a chair president and then the ministers then the appointees. Party na president ni free no. Or also na
speaker ni
parliament, the majority in parliament and the speaker is free. Enti parliament na say constitution aka say mon check executive. Parliament is only executive of the same party. So enti Emma parliament say omo be share omo to me when it comes to the executive and public finance. Because they're the same party. Nti ebidum kura posinka sa nhihye na yesi yenyi ministers in free parliament ki ntwem because I don't count a parliament any week because MPBA person obey minister and as a president ehunu nti onu kwa na afi oba be kikem kura a president and yehu bi da you know it. Nti ebi kura sa nhihye na yentwem ebi nso say mumianto yembo yebenya emre parliament no majority no will not be from the same party as the president. In this parliament when so ni parliamentar omunya ye to pay parties no president party and the opposition party ye to pay and a speaker no say free opposition. Enti kofo enya a expectation in say this parliament would show the proper exercise of
parliamentary authority
over the public purse.
Abanisa.
Intimi Abanisa. But a ban is a akwakoye pepepe. Now speaker no so free opposition. People expect that this is the time a parliament they show it to me. It is a speaker Bagbin. Then you be na esun
Yeah, be there.
Yeah, be there. Yes, I be there because it be pay. But don't feel say be my parliament. It not trade it to me when it comes to oversight of the executive. So, but there no nya etwem. How many years ni? If you be say 9.
Yeah.
Asema ye da hu say. It's about law and and order. Asema si antiase embaye. Anakwame boy. Last week a buy na me name in your tick. So now ni ha. So what you na chi wa.
Last na me no one
and I make look sir constitution natural article 97 G. Obi anti I say different. Obi anti I say different. Sir obi crack as me Mr. Sir. Say me bon atik asum anope. Na atik and I think you are brand asem kan na bodri with me ahwe me more.
Yes sir.
Branti abodri. Na o de ma bo atik asotro o de asomem se ni kakra ma bo no sotro. Na atik akọ report to me. Ewo police me court. I mean, I find me 100 cedis. Now, China, Obi kobo openi sotro. Openi ko ye report to my police. Now police say openi yate se Obi abo sotro enti no ye kwa kwachi nipa. Party ya o si nipa ye free me. Party no ma tron say microphone free.
David.
And nipa na 7 no fa ne ho no. Wabaya complain about speaker. Wabaya complain. What you baby now say oh me who say wakwa ke bibia tia o party. Wo wakwa ye bibia tia o party. Party no nya complain. But the bin so say well party no mra no so can oman no mra. There are differences of opinion on the 90. Even your camp president. You say Esiama there no party no trunk of parliament. Say yenna you can say.
Ya permanent fi party no.
Ya to kwanta ya pai. Party no trunk of parliament. Ashanti, Kofi Ashanti, ono an trunk of say me party no. Ya to kwanta ya pai.
Kofi Ashanti so
why you say ni ono an can say me party NDC to kwanta ya pai. Eno no me president. But the other president.
Oh, you mean the president Kofi Ashanti earlier? Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
there's also president.
Hey, where's Kofi Ashanti? Okay, me who na check.
He was not the communication ministry here.
Okay.
But Kwame, there's also
Kofi Ashanti, baby, will be a Michiao.
Kwame, there's also president.
Central CAF.
That's
Nipani be
big
cafeteria wo Legon. Hono nam kudi banku.
So she no obeka.
Na only ne kwede o Central CAF. Cafeteria dey say o ban. Hi kwam.
On be ye conference bi o say bi o hono.
O refi obeda someone time.
NDC.
Obeda someone time. Francis is here.
Our radio university and he so dem
Moja be pure.
NDC party no history there.
Time I come so I'm for
Central cafeteria o Legon. But I'm saying ko ye ba ku bi wo Kofodia.
Kofodia esu Kofodia there.
Ohana Francis is am say hwe ni man. I don't know cover to me back. Openyi. What cover see me ba ni e brobu as me as.
Jam kwaya na usa.
Now Samuel.
Let me do. Even president here making.
Yeah.
There's another president that MP, sitting MP, a can't say Obeko independent tax. Obian can't be in parliament. Depend on Tenya.
MTN.
Yes.
Michael Tenya.
President in it there. Obia bet me I can.